Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're gonna go ahead and install the sole function strut bar right here. We're gonna go ahead and review really quick, see what we gotta do to install it. It should be pretty simple, but we'll find out right now once we start putting this thing on, which should hopefully take us maybe less than like 30 minutes. But let's jump right into the video. So here is the strut bar. As I mentioned previously, this is a sole function brace that goes on the towers for the struts. And what this does is it kind of helps reinforce it a little bit. So it's a little bit stiffer, but it's not going to make like a huge difference. This honestly looks really good on the car, which is why I'm doing it for aesthetic purposes. So I think it'll look really sick. And if you guys don't know, this product is actually discontinued. This is for an M45 and M35, mainly M45. And why I say that is because the brace, as you can see, is curved a lot more like up in comparison to going down, or actually more straighter. So it's curved up because the V8 motor has that upper like plenum right there. Let me zoom in a little bit. That right there is the V8 plenum that goes on the M45, which is a VK45 platform. It's just a lot higher than your regular V6. So that's why these are actually made for that specific model. And this is actually really stiff. I don't think that you can really bend this. Yeah, this thing's pretty stiff. In comparison to the Megan one I had, the Megan one would bend quite a bit. This one is not really bending, but once we install on the car, we'll see how it looks. I already checked it out when it came to clearance to see how high it was gonna sit. It does sit a little bit higher, but it does clear because the FX body is designed different from the engine, where it sits a little bit higher. So the hood sits higher as well in comparison to like a G37, 370Z. This for sure would not fit on a 370Z. And that's why the guy was actually selling it, was because it sat way too high. But let's go ahead and begin installing this thing. Should be pretty straightforward, and then we'll go from there. Alright, so this is gonna sit like that. As you can see, we got a few things in the way. I mean, it should clear pretty well, but we are gonna have to move so a few things around to get it in there. I see that bottom piece kind of being a problem, but other than that, that should really be it. And it looks like it'll clear the catch cans, but if anything, I could just relocate them if I need to. I have a lot more space now that I installed my intakes to relocate them somewhere out here if I need to. There's these little things right there that I can use to make a bracket to hold it right there. So that might be the way to go if we need to go that route. But for right now, let's go ahead and focus on just removing these things right here. Once we remove the mount right here, we can go ahead and just attach it right there with some 12 mils. Hopefully it works out perfect. We're going to begin by actually removing the bolts right here, just to mount up the mounting plates to the upper strut. And those are 12 mils, so we just got to loosen those. They should be pretty easy to break off. Those should not be tight at all. So go ahead and remove this. Then now we can remove the bracket. Then we can go ahead and install this right in there. I'm going to use some extensions to get it in there. There you go. This thing is going to get in the way, so you could remove this cover to make it like a little bit easier, or you can cut it honestly, because you don't really like need this. There's no point in having that. And I just need one more. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and install the slider right here first. Now I do see that kind of getting in the way, but it looks like we can just bend it up to get it out of that area. Try bending it up. There you go. And then we can just cut it if it gets in the way for whatever reason. So for the most part, I got them all on there. I'm not going to tighten it all the way down because you want to leave it loose so you can kind of wiggle it around. Like that. Gives you a little bit of movement. This would honestly be better just to cut it or remove it for right now completely to give you a little bit more space. As you can see, mine's already loose. It doesn't look like it has any hardware to hold it down right now. But we got one side on. Let's go ahead and do the other side. This one seems that it'll be a little bit easier to install because it doesn't have like too much stuff going on around here. It just has the lines, but those are pretty like flexible and you can move them around. So put this to the side right now. Alright, so here's the other side. This one, I think we might have to get it in between these lines right here. So maybe like right here, because that's going to sit like right there. So maybe we can get it from the bottom like this. And then just fish it up. Everything's on there right now, and so far it looks really good. Let's go ahead and place it on, and yeah, it honestly looks perfect. So I think on this side it'd be better to install these, but my oil catch can is getting in the way. Over here it's not gonna fit, so I'm gonna have to move my catch can just a little bit to get it in there. And like I said, this thing's getting in the way. I mean, you can choose to cut it, or you could just completely remove this thing by removing the clips that hold it in. Completely up to you. Right now what I'm noticing is that this bar right here is like too far out, so I need to bend it in enough to get the bolt in there. So by me bending it like that, as you can see, it sits in there. Now my issue is that my catch can's in the way, so I'm gonna have to remove this part right here for now. I can't remember which side it is. I think it's this way. There you go. Like that. Take out my dipstick. Alright, now that should give me enough space to just throw this thing in there. There you go. Sick. So there you guys go. Like I said, it just hit like a little bit higher, but it doesn't look too bad. It sits below this, so I know for sure it's gonna clear with no problem. So we're good there. Now that looks pretty sick. I like that a lot. Let's go ahead and tighten the nuts and bolts down right here. So unfortunately, I don't know what size Allen key this is. I just had a bunch laying around, and I just happened to find the size that I need. But we're gonna go ahead and tighten this right here. Right now my oil catch can's in the way, so it's making it a little bit more difficult, but you can use like a breaker bar on your Allen key to hold it in, and then just tighten it that way. Now you want this to be sitting as low as possible, so just push it down and then tighten it there. Alright, so right now I'm recording a little bit of a before installing the strut on the FX. And keep in mind, I already have 285s on here in the front and the rear. So the car does handle extremely well and it's like planted. But we'll see if it makes a difference. guys, we're gonna go ahead and test out the strut bar, see if it makes a noticeable difference on the car steering. Hopefully this car doesn't go straight. It looks like they are. Not gonna lie, that did feel pretty good. Let's see right here. That does feel pretty good actually. Like it just cornered really well, like it just turned with no problem. I felt like before it didn't feel like as planted, so I think it did make a difference. And I will say though, this bar does look a lot sturdier in comparison to like the other one I had. I had a Megan one on my M45 and that thing was pretty like flexible. This one's pretty sturdy. It doesn't really bend as much. It only bent in like a little bit when I was pushing it down. But other than that, it's pretty sturdy. So overall, it did make a difference when turning at high speeds. But obviously just turning normal, driving straight, not gonna feel a difference. But once you're actually like turning at a high rate of speed, you are gonna feel that difference. You guys will kind of see that when I was trying to turn, I felt a little bit more like nervous to actually turn, and I could feel the car like moving a little bit more. Right now, I felt like I could push it and it was maintaining its steering, you know? So that was pretty cool. I like that. For this being a discontinued part, I got it for a really good deal, because these things are what, like, I think it's $280, but then like plus taxes and everything, shipping comes out to like $300. So you're probably gonna spend around $300 for one of these products. I got it for $100, which is not bad at all. Alright guys, so we're gonna go ahead and end the video right there. As you saw, it was a super easy install, fit right up with no issues. Honestly, I believe all strut bars from like a G35, G37, 350Z are interchangeable. The only difference that I see from like the 370Z, 350Z platform is that we already have a strut bar. So most people won't actually buy one for 370Z or the 350Z. It already has a strut bar at the top that covers the existing strut mounts already, so there's no point in doing that unless you decide to, you know, take that off, which I don't think most people would do anyway. They would just keep that or upgrade it to like a titanium one. For example, the one that I picked up for the M45, that one was actually from a G35, and I mocked it up, made a few adjustments, bent the bar a little bit to make it work, and it fit right up. But the bar that I have right now was actually meant for an M45, so you can see that like high clearance. If you get one from like a G37, it's gonna sit a little bit lower and it'll look a little bit cleaner because it's more closer to the engine bay or the engine itself. But that's pretty much it. There are other options available from what I've seen. I think the only difference that you're gonna notice from the other brands is gonna be like the sturdiness of the bar. The Megan one that I had before was not very sturdy, and I could bend it really easily. As with this one, it looks like it has like 2 layers, so it makes it really sturdy and stiff. And then there's like other brands from eBay that are not name brand, but they work perfectly fine and they just sit on there. I think most people, especially for the FX guys, QX, we're going to do it for aesthetic purposes, because most of you guys, or even myself, are not going to use this car for, you know, track purposes or drifting or anything like that. So honestly, I did it just because it looks cool and makes the engine bay a little bit better. So I'm trying to make this look like a nice, clean OEM plus car. And so far, I think it's looking really sick, and everything is just coming together. My next video is going to be a little bit more of an engine dress up. I picked up a few things that I think will look pretty cool, give you guys some ideas to clean up your engine bay. And that will be the next one, which is going to be like an oil filler cap and dress up bolts. But that is going to conclude the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, and I will catch y'all in the next one.